And just find something that feels comfortable for you. Close your eyes and just start to take a couple deep breaths. So this part of our yoga class is an important part because it's when you first start to kind of check in with yourself, see how you're doing today, see what energy you brought with you here onto your mat today. And that's important because we all come from different places and we're doing different things before we get here on our mat. But then once you come onto your mat, it's time to really go inside and focus on how you're feeling today. And that might sound vague and ambiguous, but it's basically just checking in with yourself and seeing how you're feeling. Am I tired? Do I have energy? Do I need some more energy? Do I need to take it easy today? So just kind of seeing how you're feeling so that you can make sure you get that out of your practice today. If that means taking a couple extra child's poses, we were talking about that on Thursday. Maybe you do that. Maybe you do a little extra than what I told you because you have the energy and you need to. So listen to yourself and do what it is that you need to do, regardless of what I'm telling you to do or what I'm suggesting for you to do. And go ahead and set your intention based on that. So that intention could be listen to my body, focus on my breath, find balance, be patient with myself as I improve slowly, or whatever that intention might be. And then once you have that intention set, let's start to find a full body stretch. So you're going to reach the arms overhead, lengthen the legs. You can roll out the wrists and the ankles, move from side to side a little bit. So this always reminds you of just getting up in the morning, right when you get out of bed, kind of doing all those little movements that feel good. And then we're going to draw the right knee in towards us, wrapping your arms around that right shin, hug it in a little bit. You can rock from side to side. You can circle that right knee. So really just whatever feels good for you. Starting to warm up through that hip a little bit. And then we're going to take that right leg and just bring it over to the left side of the body. So you're kind of twisting here a little bit. The right knee is coming towards the ground. That right shoulder probably lifted up. Mine did. So maybe press that right shoulder down a little bit. It doesn't have to come back to the mat, but just pressing it in that direction. So you're getting that twist through the core, through the center of the body. And then we'll bring that right knee back through center. Let's bend the left knee, place the left foot on the mat, straighten the right leg up towards the sky, and then just bring your hands either behind your thigh or behind your shin. You can massage the back of the leg. You can bend and straighten the leg, roll out the ankle. So just kind of warming up that right leg, however it feels comfortable for you. Maybe walking your hands up the leg, bringing your head towards the nose. Walking your hands back down to the mat. And then we're going to take that right foot, place it on the left knee. So you're kind of making a triangle shape if you were to look up at your legs. Extend your arms out to either side of you, and then just let your hips rock from side to side. So bringing that right foot towards the mat, and then the right knee towards the mat, just gently rocking side to side. This is getting into your spine some more, another little twist. And last, before we switch sides, let's come back through center. Lift up the left leg. Interlace your hands behind that left knee as you start to draw the left leg towards you. Both feet are flexed here. So that left foot is flexed. That right foot is flexed. You're drawing that leg towards you. Getting a little stretch in the right hip. And you can go ahead and place that left foot back down on the mat. Extend the right foot long as you start to draw the left knee in towards you, just like we did on the other side. Hug that left knee in. You can circle it. You can rock it side to side. Just starting to warm up that hip a little bit. So moving it any way that feels good for you. And then we'll start to take that left knee over to the right side. So coming into that twist again, pressing the left shoulder down to the mat, pressing the left knee down the opposite direction. Again, neither one might be touching the ground. Neither of mine are, but they're working themselves towards the ground. As you come back through center, the right knee can bend. That right foot goes on the mat. And you'll straighten that left leg up towards the sky. Hands can come behind the thigh. And that knee doesn't have to be perfectly straight. If it's not straight, that's fine. You're working on straightening it, but you are where you are. You can massage the back of the leg. You can bend and straighten the knee if that feels good. Roll out the ankle. Sometimes that loosens up some tightness in that calf area. This is also a great stretch to do with a strap or a rope or a belt, any sort of string that you have. If it feels like the foot is a little far away or the leg is a little far away, wrap something around the foot and you can hold on to it and sort of draw it towards you. So that's just another option when you're doing the stretch. Let's go ahead and bring that left foot to the right knee. Extend your arms out wide to the side, and we'll take that little twist again, rocking from side to side, left knee towards the mat, left foot towards the mat, getting a little twist through the spine. And as you come back through center, lift that right leg up off the mat, flex the foot, interlace your hands behind that right thigh, draw the right leg towards you. Sometimes I like to press my left knee away with my hands. And then let's go ahead and start to make our way up to a seated position. So you can release that left foot, hug both knees in towards you, bring your hands behind your thighs as you start to rock along the spine, eventually making your way all the way up to a seat, crossing those legs, maybe sitting on a blanket or a pillow if that feels more comfortable. Sit up nice and tall. Your hands can rest on your knees. Maybe a little bit of a rock from side to side. I always like to do that to kind of ground down through my hips. And then really think about that length in the spine. You can sit up a little taller, relax those shoulders down and back, lift up your chin. So all these little movements that help us start to settle into this pose. And then on the next breath, we're going to start to draw those shoulders up towards the ears, rolling out your shoulders, a couple circles in each direction, thinking about whatever tightness or tension is up there, whatever stuff we store up there. You might notice throughout the day as you start to get a little more stressed, the shoulders get a little bit higher. So that's what we're working on dissolving right now. Just imagine any of that tightness, any of that stuff just dissolving as you move the shoulders. And then letting those shoulders relax down and back, bringing your chin towards your chest. You're lengthening the back of the spine, lengthening the back of the neck, kind of looking at the mat to start, and then slowly start to roll the head all the way around. So beginning to take a couple rounds of full circles with your neck. Always having the option to just go side to side. Sometimes full circles doesn't feel comfortable. People like to just do kind of bring your left ear towards your shoulder and then the right ear. That's an option as well. So go ahead and just take a few more rounds like that. If you are taking full circles, go a couple in both directions. And then eventually lifting that head back up, bringing that chin back so that it's even to the ground. Take a breath in as the arms lift up overhead. Let's take a side stretch by bringing the left hand to the side of the body, leaning to the left so that you're stretching the whole right side of the body, looking under that right arm, pressing the hip down, reaching the fingertips. On the next inhale, lift it back up through center. Take it over to the right side. Your right hand comes to the mat. The left fingertips reach to the right side, looking under that left arm. So it's a subtle shift, but it's big. If you're looking down at the right hand or down towards the ground, you're kind of closed off and leaning down. But if you shift, roll that left shoulder back, look up towards the sky. Now you're opening up, creating that space in the front of the body. It's good for your posture. It's good for your spine. On the next inhale, lift it all the way back up. On the exhale, fold it forward, walking those hands away from you. This one can feel tight for a lot of people. You might be feeling it in your outer hips or the back of the body. That's good. That means this is working for you. This is a stretch that you need. So just breathe into that tightness. Take a couple of breaths. Imagine each time you inhale, the spine is lengthening. Each time you exhale, you're folding into that length that that spine just created, and you're able to come a little bit deeper into the pose. Let your head become heavy so it's hanging between your shoulders. Slowly starting to walk the hands back towards you. We're just going to switch the cross of the legs. So I have my left foot in front. Now I'm going to put my right foot in front. It might be opposite for you. We tend to do whichever one feels most comfortable first. So now you're probably doing the one that feels a little funky. Take another breath in, lift those arms up overhead. On the next exhale, fold it forward. Bringing those hands back to the mat in front of you as you walk them away from you. You can also move a little bit. Sometimes it feels good to sort of walk your hands to one side, walk your hands to the other side, like one knee, other knee kind of thing. And walking those hands back towards you, coming all the way back up to a seated position. Bring your hands to your knees, still with that funky cross of the leg. We're going to circle the upper body, bringing your chest forward and all the way around. I have us do this pretty often, but usually it's with the other cross of the leg. So you might notice that you can't circle as deeply as you do sometimes. That's okay. Different movements. If you are making circles, make sure you take a couple in each direction. Otherwise, maybe you're moving side to side or even sort of twisting. You can press your hands into your knees and look over one shoulder and look over the other shoulder. It's just your chance to kind of move in a way that feels good for you. As you come back through center, let's start to bring the soles of the feet together, coming into a butterfly position with those hands interlaced under the toes. Take a breath in to lengthen the spine. On the exhale, start to fold forward, pressing your elbows into your shins, drawing your chest towards your toes. Always coming back to that breath, focusing on the inhale, creating length. The exhale folds us forward. And we'll start to lift it all the way back up. And find your tabletop position. So go ahead and bring your hands out to the mat in front of you, knees under you, flat back to start. And then we're going to extend the right foot, keep those toes tucked on the mat. You see that little forward and backwards pulse that we do here, sort of pressing that right heel towards the ground and then using the toes to press yourself forward. So really focusing on the bottoms of the feet here, or the bottom of the right foot for now. And then we're going to lift that right leg up off the mat, parallel to the ground. Take a breath in as you draw the knee towards the nose, round your back. Exhale, extend it long. We'll do that 2 more times. Draw the knee to the nose. Exhale, extend it long. 1 more time, knee to nose, around that back. Exhale, extend it long. And switch sides so I'm not backwards. We're going to come into a modified side plank. So take your left foot and sort of slide it off your mat. You're making a kickstand with the top of the left foot. The inner arch of the right foot is coming down to the mat. And then that right arm is either lifting up towards the sky or it's coming over your head. So I'll let you decide what you like better. I tend to like to reach mine over my head. So kind of making a straight line from my foot to my hand because that gives a nice stretch on the right side of the body. But some people prefer that right arm to reach up. You decide what feels best for you. One more option is to take this into a full side plank. So this is a modified side plank right now. You want to find that full side plank. You're going to extend the left leg as well. You can still have that arm in either shape, but typically I lift the right arm up. So you decide what feels right for you today. Wherever you are, we're all going to start to make our way back into that tabletop. So you have the full plank, left knee comes down, right hand comes down, right knee comes down. Let's take a couple rounds of cat and cow just to sort of shake that out. So press your stomach down towards the mat. Take your gaze up as you inhale. Exhale around the back. Press the ground away from you. And just take a couple rounds, moving with your breath, moving in any way that you like. You've both done this class a lot before. So if there's other versions of cat and cow you like, do that. Maybe that means rocking your hips from side to side or pressing yourself forwards and backwards. The idea is just that you're moving. It doesn't have to look a certain way. And then let's start to take that over onto the other side. So we're going to extend the left leg, keeping those toes tucked first so that you can start to press yourself forwards and backwards, stretching out the bottom of the foot, the back of the leg. We'll start to lift that left leg up off the mat. So the left leg is parallel to the ground. Take the breath in, draw the left knee to the nose, round that back. Exhale, lengthen. 2 more times. Inhale, knee to nose, round the back. Exhale, extend. 1 more time. Inhale, knee to nose, round the back. Exhale, lengthen. Find that side plank again. So starting with the modified, right foot becomes your kickstand as you slide it over to the right. Inner arch of the left foot comes down, and then find your shape or your position with that left arm, whether it's up towards the sky or reaching overhead, or maybe a combination. It feels good to take a big stretch, reaching the arm overhead, and then you eventually settle in with it, reaching it up. If you want to come into that full plank, right leg can extend as well. If you are in that full plank, make sure you continue to press your hips up towards the sky. Sometimes we start to droop our hips and we're here because we're trying to be here, but we're not quite there because our hips are drooping. In that case, I would suggest either pressing those hips up or bringing the knee back down just so that you can keep those hips pressed up. Either way, then you're getting the full benefit of the stretch. Let's all come back to that tabletop position. Left hand comes to the mat, left knee comes to the mat. Again, you can sort of shake it out, rock it out side to side, maybe a little cat and cow. And then you'll make your way into your first downward facing dog. So when you're ready, your toes will tuck, your legs will straighten, your hips go up and back as you just start to settle in here. I always encourage moving when you first get into your down dog because it can feel stiff. I've done 1,000 down dogs and I would guess that you have too, but this time, first thing in the morning, it can feel a little tight, it can feel a little different. So lift up those heels, press them back down, bend your knees and then straighten them. Rock your hips from side to side or shake your head yes and no. You don't have to do all those things, but just some suggestions that might help. So from here, we're going to start to walk our hands towards your feet. So we're coming to a forward fold at the back of the mat. Any forward fold that feels good for you. So holding opposite elbows, holding the back of your head, holding the back of your leg. Maybe not holding anything. You're just sort of swinging like a rag doll. So just take a couple breaths here. Shaking out that head, relaxing those shoulders. On the next inhale, we're going to slowly start to lift it all the way up. Reach your arms up overhead. Take a little back bend, stretch it out. On the exhale, fold it forward all the way back down. Bringing your hands to the mat. We're going to walk those hands to the top of the mat, coming to a plank position this time. So walking the hands a little bit further, bringing your tailbone down, engaging your core, lengthening your spine. Let's bring our knees to the mat as you lower all the way onto your stomach, hugging your elbows in towards the body. On the next inhale, press the upper body up just a little bit, maybe even starting with a baby cobra. Usually that's where I start us. So your fingertips can lift up off the mat for your baby cobra. If you want to press up a little higher, you can do that as well. From here, we're all going to make our way back to a downward facing dog. So press your hands into the mat. Press those hips back, straighten your legs back to your downward facing dog. Maybe some more movement if that still feels good. Continuing to press those heels down, bend those knees. And let's do that same thing again. So your hands are going to walk towards your feet one more time, coming to a forward fold at the back of the mat. Maybe you take the same version that you just took. Maybe you take a different version. Any forward fold that feels good. Think about just not resisting, if that makes sense. So a lot of what keeps us from coming deeper into our forward fold is that we're tensing things, we're holding on to things. So think about relaxing the shoulders. Maybe that means putting a little bend in the knees to allow the upper body to release forward a little more. On the next inhale, let's lift it all the way up, lifting those arms up overhead. Take that little back bend. Take as much time as you need so that you're not whipping your head up and making yourself dizzy. On the next exhale, let's fold it right back down, forward fold, bringing those hands to the mat so that you can again walk it out to that plank position, nice and slow, nice and controlled until you're in your plank. From that plank position, we'll bring our knees down to the mat. Go ahead and lower onto your stomach. And then again, find a cobra of your choice. Maybe it's baby cobra with the hands lifted. Maybe you're pressing those hands into the mat, keeping the elbows bent a little bit. And again, back to downward facing dog. Toes will tuck, legs will straighten, hips go up and back. This time we're going to walk forward. So go ahead and take your gaze towards your hands, walking those feet to your hands instead of to the back of your mat. So same idea, forward fold at the top of your mat. This time, let's bring our hands to our shins. Take a halfway lift, or think about flattening your spine as you inhale. Kind of making a 90-degree angle with your upper body and your legs. As you exhale, fold a little deeper. On the next inhale, lift it all the way up, reach those arms up overhead, take a little back bend. Let's do that one more time. Exhale, dive it down, forward fold. Inhale to that halfway lift. So when we do this, we're creating some space, we're lengthening through the upper body, so that when you exhale now, you can fold a little bit further forward. You're inhaling to create space, you're exhaling to fold into that space. On the next inhale, we'll lift it all the way up again, reach those arms up overhead. This time, interlace your hands, press your palms up towards the sky as you relax the shoulders. We're gonna lean over to the left side, getting a stretch on the whole right side of the body, looking under that right arm, kind of like we did when we were seated. Think about pressing that right shoulder back so that you can look up versus folding forward so that you're looking at the ground. You want to look at the ceiling. On the next inhale, lift it all the way back up, get a little taller, but relax those shoulders. And then take it over to the right side so that you're stretching the whole left side of the body, pressing those palms towards the right, pressing the hips towards the left. And inhale, lift it back up. As you exhale, you can bring those hands to the sides of the body. Good. We're going to come into a warrior one. So you're going to keep your right foot forward. You're going to step your left foot to the back of your mat, 45-degree angle with that left foot. Take a breath in and lift your arms up overhead. Exhale, bend into that right knee. So let's take a moment to check in on our alignment here. So left foot is at a 45-degree angle. You're pressing down to that outer edge of the left foot. Your hips are forward rather than uneven. Like if that right hip is a little further in front than the left hip, go ahead and switch or shimmy those hips so that they're squared. That right knee is bending. We're working on having a 90-degree angle with that right knee, even if it's not there yet. We're working towards it. Your shoulders are relaxed, so they're not up by your ears. They're pressing down and back, lengthening your arms. I'm giving you all these cues to distract you from the fact that we're still holding this. Maybe it's not distracting, but I tried. Go ahead and bring your hands behind the back of the body. You're either going to interlace your hands or you're going to hold on to your elbows or your wrists, whatever you can grab. Take a breath in as you lift up through the upper body. As you exhale, start to lean the upper body forward. So you're still bending into that right knee. You're pressing your head forward. If you have that interlace of the hands are pressing away from the body. Go ahead and lift it back up. Let's straighten that right leg to give ourselves a break. You can release the hands behind your back too. Let's bump up that left foot, maybe just a little bit. We're going to come into our pyramid pose. So 2 or 3 feet away from each other, our feet are. So it kind of depends on how wide your stance was before, but about 2 or 3 feet apart now. Take your breath in. That left heel is grounding down now. So the left foot is pressing down into the mat and both toes are facing the top of your mat. So we don't have that little pivot in the back of the foot anymore. Take a breath in as you lift up. As you exhale, we're going to fold over the right leg. So this is pyramid pose. If you start to feel like you need to step that left foot up a little bit more, you can. I just had to do that because my alignment was a little bit off. So in your pyramid pose, you can have your fingertips on the mat if that feels accessible, maybe bending the knee to get those fingertips on the mat. If that feels a little far away and you have some blocks or some books, your hands can rest on those blocks or those books. You can even grab onto a chair or something that's around you to sort of hold on to. You can have your hands on that front shin as well. We want those hips squared in this pose as well. So if you feel like that left hip is behind the right, try to press that left hip forward a little bit. We're going to come into a balance here, a supported warrior 3. So if your hands are not on the ground or on blocks yet, go ahead and bend that right knee so that you can bring your hands to something. We're going to start to lift that left foot up a little bit. That's our supported warrior three. And maybe that's just lifting the toes off the mat. That's fine. Play around with that. Eventually, that left foot might be parallel to the ground. See if you can lift that left leg up a little bit, flexing through the foot. There is an option to come unsupported here without the hands, but I'll leave that up to you. You decide if you want to keep those hands on the ground or the blocks or whatever they're on, keep them there. If you want to try unsupported, maybe you bring one hand to heart center, maybe the other. I'm feeling wobbly this morning. My right leg is burning. I don't know if I'm tired or if I've been having us hold this for a long time. But let's go ahead and bring that left foot down to the mat. So we're in a forward fold. Hands come to shins, flat back as you inhale. Exhale as you fold. Inhale as you lift it all the way up. Reach those arms up overhead. Take that little back bend. Exhale, hands to the sides of the body. Good. Shake it out. Take a sip of water if you need. We're going to switch over to the other side. So we're coming back to that warrior one, this time with the left foot in the front. So the left foot stays in the front, that right foot steps to the back of your mat. Hips are facing forward. Take a breath in as you lift those arms up. Exhale as you bend into that knee. As I exhaled, I had to step my foot back. Sometimes you'll notice that you need to sort of adjust either of the feet to make that alignment just right. So always go ahead and do that. Pressing down through the outer edge of that right foot. Hips are facing forward. Arms are reaching up towards the sky. Take note of that left knee. If it's way out in front of the, or above, so it should be directly above the left ankle. If it's out and over it, you want to dial it back a little bit so that you're protecting that knee. Take a breath in, maybe bending a little deeper, coming a little lower. Now we'll find that interlace behind the back. So same options, could be interlacing your hands, it could be holding onto elbows or wrists, whatever feels comfortable behind the back of the body. Take a breath in as you lift up, open up the heart, the chest. On the exhale, start to fold it forward, bending into that left knee and pressing the top of the head forward. And then slowly lifting up through the upper body. You can straighten that left leg, release the arms to the side of the body. We're going to start to stand up for that pyramid pose. So to do that, the back foot is going to step up a little bit and turn it forward. So you're not having that 45-degree angle anymore. Both feet are facing forward and that right foot is not as far back as it was for the warrior one. Take a breath in as you lift those arms up. As you exhale, start to fold over that left leg. Same option, maybe a bend in the knee so that you can bring your hands to frame out that left foot. Maybe bringing those hands to blocks or even, like I said, the back of the chair. I have a couch right here, so I can always have my hands on the couch if that helps. Could really be anything just to kind of give you that extra support, because that can actually help you come deeper into it. Some people think, I can't use props, that's cheating, that's not the way the pose works. But in fact, props will actually let you come deeper into a pose sometimes. So having my hands on this couch allows me to fold a little deeper than I could if I was just floating on my own. So keep that in mind. And props can be really just anything you have around the house. It doesn't have to be fancy yoga blocks or anything like that. So let's start to find that supported warrior three. Your weight is in the left foot. The right foot is going to start to lift up off the mat. Again, maybe it's just lifting the toe up. Maybe the leg is parallel to the ground. You decide. And then that final option is if you want to play around with making it unsupported by bringing either one hand to heart center or both hands to heart center. And we'll all find a forward fold. Right foot comes back down to the mat. Hands come to shins as you inhale. Flat back, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale to lift it all the way up. Reach those arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to the sides of the body. Good. Again, shake it out, let it go. Make your way back to the top of your mat if you weren't there already. I had wandered off my mat a little bit. We're going to reach those arms back up overhead as you inhale. As you exhale, fold it forward. Put a little bend in those knees. We're going to come into a low lunge by stepping the left foot back moving your right foot forward. So you can take one giant step, you can take a couple smaller steps until that right foot is at the top of the mat. Hands are framing out the right foot and the left foot is at the back. Left hand is going to press down into the mat. You're going to lift your right arm up, coming into a twist. So take your gaze up towards that right hand. And bringing that right hand back down to the mat. Let's lower that left knee, untuck those toes. On the exhale, press those hips back. We're going to start to warm up the hips a little bit by moving here. Pressing the hips forward, rebending that right knee as you inhale, lift up. As you exhale, press those hips back again, straighten the right leg, and you're just going to move like this a couple times, however you want it to look. So the idea is that you're warming up the hips, mostly the left hip. When we're forward, think about pressing that left hip down towards the mat. The next time you come forward, we're coming into our Anjaneyasana, it's called in Sanskrit, or a Crescent Lunge. So hands can stay down if that feels good, or they can come to that right knee, or the last option is reaching them up towards the sky. So you have lots of options here, but what I want you focusing on is the left hip, not necessarily where your hands are. So I can have my hands up or on my knee or on the ground. My left hip isn't changing at all. If you find that when your hands are up, you start to press the upper body way back, bring your hand to your knee so that you can come a little deeper into it, because that's what we're working on here, that knee, or that hip, sorry. And let's bring our hands to frame out that right foot, tuck the back toes as you straighten that leg. We're going to come to a wide-legged forward fold. You're going to get there by walking your hands over to the left, pivoting on your feet until they're facing the side of your mat. And then you're just going to fold forward and do whatever feels good here. So that could be kind of bending one knee at a time and rocking back and forth. It could be walking your hands to one leg and then the other leg, holding on to opposite elbows and just sort of hanging. Just take 2 or 3 breaths here, doing whatever feels good, not doing anything at all if it feels good to sort of stay still. We've been moving a lot, so it might feel good to just take a breath or two in stillness. From here, let's start to walk our hands back to frame out that right foot. So we're coming back to that low lunge that we were just in. Go ahead and walk those hands forward, spin to the ball of the left foot as the right toes face the top of your mat, just like where we were when we started. And we're coming back to that forward fold. The left foot is going to step back up to meet the right. Your hands are going to come to your shins as you lift up halfway for that flat back. As you exhale, fold. On the next inhale, lift it all the way up, reach those arms up overhead. Take it right back down to do the other side. As you exhale, fold it forward. Put a little bend in those knees. This time the left foot is staying at the top of the mat. You're stepping that right foot back. So finding another low lunge or a runner's lunge with the left foot forward. The right hand is going to come down next to the left foot so that we can find that twist again. Lifting the left arm up towards the sky, taking your gaze up towards that left hand. And then slowly bringing the left hand back down to the mat. You can lower down the right knee, untuck those toes. On the next exhale, press those hips back as you fold over the left leg and just start to move here like you did on the other side, moving with your breath. So it does not have to look like mine. It doesn't have to be at the speed that I'm moving. It has to be what feels right for you and feels like it's giving you that stretch in that right hip. Back of the leg too, that left leg is stretching when we press our hips back, but really we're focusing on warming up the hips. The next time you come forward, let's find that Anjaneyasana, hips press forward. Hands can come to that left knee or towards the sky. Think about opening up through the front of the body here. So puffing up the heart, the chest, creating that length in the spine. And we'll start to bring our hands back to frame out that left foot. Tuck the back toes so you're back in that low lunge. And we'll take one more wide-legged forward fold by walking our hands over to the right side this time, spinning your toes so that they're facing the side of your mat. And again, taking any movement that feels good here. So maybe you walk your hands really far out in front of you, almost like a wide-legged forward fold, or I'm sorry, wide-legged down dog. Or maybe really far behind you, starting to bring the top of your head towards the mat or working in that direction. And one more time, we're coming back to that low lunge at the top of the mat. Hands start to walk back to the left foot. Spin to the ball of the right foot as those left toes come back to the top of your mat. So you're facing forward once again. Find a forward fold by stepping that right foot up. And it can be a couple steps. It doesn't need to be a giant step forward. However you want to get that right foot up to the top of the mat, go ahead and do that. Take a halfway lift once you get there. Big inhale. Exhale to fold. On the next inhale, lift it all the way up. Reach those arms up overhead. Exhale, hands come to the side of the body. Good. Take another breath. Grab a sip of water. Maybe shake it out a little bit. Roll out the shoulders. Roll out the neck. As you start to make your way to the top of the mat, if you're not there already, we're going to come into our Warrior 2. We haven't done that yet today. I almost said tonight because I'm used to teaching in the evening. It's not nighttime. Let's keep our right foot at the top of the mat. Step that left foot to the back. So in your Warrior 2, it's not at a 45-degree angle. That back foot is parallel to the back of your mat. So the outer edge of that left foot parallel to the back of your mat. Take a breath in as you reach the arms up. Relax those shoulders. On the exhale, bend into that right knee. So think about reaching your arms in opposite directions. Left fingertips are reaching back. Right fingertips are reaching forward. You're lengthening through the whole upper body, almost like there's something that's just out of reach in each direction. Bending into that right knee, looking at that front hand. We're going to find a peaceful warrior by flipping the right palm up towards the sky. Reach the fingertips forward and then take that right arm up and overhead. So you're still bending into the right knee. Your left hand can be resting on the back leg, but really gently. You don't want all of your weight dumping into the outer edge of that left knee. That could not be good for your knee. So that left hand is soft. You can also sort of wrap behind your back. Let's lift it back up to a Warrior 2. Right arm reaches forward, left arm reaches back. Straighten that right leg. One more time, we're going to lean forward. Those arms are still extended. The right arm is reaching forward as you make your way into triangle pose or trikonasana. So the right arm starts to come down. The left arm lifts up towards the sky. Press that left shoulder back as you look up towards that left hand. Right hand is on the shin, on the mat, on a block, whatever lets you gently rest that right hand. Again, it's not pressing, you're not all of your weight pressing into that right hand. It's just sort of just there as a gentle support. On the next inhale, lift it back up. Turn your right toes to face the side of your mat. We're just going to pivot that in the other direction. So turn your left toes to face the back of your mat. We're going to make that the front of your mat now. Take a big deep breath in. Exhale, bend into that left knee. Relax the shoulders back into Warrior 2 on the opposite side this time. So feeling those arms reaching. Mine are getting a little bit tired now, so might be a little more challenging now, but that's good. Feel them working a little bit. Let's find that peaceful warrior by flipping the left palm. Reach it forward. Left arm comes up and overhead, bending into that left knee. Right hand is softly resting on the back of the leg as those left fingertips reach back. And we'll come back to that Warrior 2. Left arm reaches forward, right arm reaches back, just for a breath. And then you can straighten the left leg as we start to find our triangle pose. Left arm reaches forward and then down. So we do that little forward reach first, again, as a way of creating some additional space. You get a little extra inch, and that can make a big difference when you're getting ready to fold forward. You can fold just a little bit further into your triangle because you have that little extra bit of space to work with. Reaching that right arm up towards the sky, looking up towards that right hand. Taking a breath. And then make your way back up. And you can bring your hands to the sides of the body. And you can just start to step your feet back together. So just go ahead and walk your feet until you're at a normal stance. And make your way back to the top of your mat. So again, grab a sip of water, grab whatever you need as you start to come back to the top of your mat. We'll take a deep breath in, reach those arms up overhead. Exhale, dive it down, forward fold, put a little bend in those knees so that you can step it back to your downward facing dog. So start to walk your feet to the back of the mat. Coming back to that downward facing dog. Always the option to move here if it still feels good to pedal it out a little bit. Otherwise, find some stillness in your down dog. Take your gaze towards your thighs or your shins. Relax the head, press those heels down. Let's roll it out into a plank position. Tuck your tailbone under, engage your core. Bring those knees to the mat so we can start to lower ourselves all the way down onto our stomachs. On the next inhale, take that Cobra pose. Press your hands into the mat as much as you like, but be mindful of your spine. So maybe you're keeping your elbows at a 90-degree angle. Maybe you're keeping your hands off the mat. Do what feels right for your spine. And then from here, let's just press it back into a tabletop position. So you can press your hands into the mat, bend those knees, find that tabletop. You might need to walk your knees a little closer to you so that you're not like reaching really far back or forward. So setting up that tabletop. Go ahead and move through a couple rounds of your cat and cow. Press your stomach down, round that back. Rock your hips from side to side. And then we're all going to start to come into a seated position. So when you are ready, you'll lower yourself down onto your mat, extend your legs long in front of you. So kind of rock those hips from side to side a little bit, flex through those feet as you sit up nice and tall. Kind of like when we do that halfway lift when we're standing and you make that 90-degree angle with the body. Think about that here as well when you're sitting. Your back is as straight as it can be. Your legs are as straight. It doesn't have to be perfect. If there's a bend in your knees or your back's a little round, that's okay. But just think about creating that 90-degree angle. Core is engaged. We're going to bring the left foot into the right inner thigh. So keeping that right leg long. Flex those right toes. Take a breath in as you lift the arms up. As you exhale, start to fold over that right leg and just do whatever feels good for that leg. If that means bending the knee, if it means massaging the back of the leg, moving the foot, go ahead and do whatever helps warm up that leg or give that leg a little love. Let's all take a breath in and lift up halfway. So lengthen the spine as you inhale. And then exhale, see if you can fold a little bit deeper. Again, we'll inhale and lift all the way up this time. Come into a twist with the left foot coming to the outside of the right knee, the left hand coming to the side of the body. On an inhale, the right arm lifts up. On an exhale, we're twisting to the left, hooking the right elbow on the outside of the left knee. Take a breath in, sit up a little taller. Take an exhale, twist a little deeper. As we come back to the center, let's take it over to the right side for just a breath. Either bringing both hands to the mat and sort of folding towards the mat on your right side, or pressing the left elbow into the knee and sort of unraveling. So either way, you're just sort of countering that twist. Coming back through center, extend both legs long, tap the backs of the legs on the mat, maybe wiggle your feet from side to side a little bit, readjust, shake it out. And then the right foot is going to come into the inner thigh of the left foot. Those left toes are flexed. Take a breath in as the arms reach up overhead. On the exhale, folding it forward. Again, doing whatever feels good here for you. Sometimes I like a bend in my knees. Sometimes I'm moving that ankle a little bit. You can also do what you want with the back. I know I talk a lot about trying to lengthen that spine and keep a flat back. In this pose, if you want to fold a little bit deeper, you can do that. Let's all take that breath in and find that flat back. So as you inhale, lift up a little. As you exhale, see if you can fold a little deeper. And again, inhale, lift it all the way up as we start to find that twist with the right foot coming to the outside of the left knee. So the right foot is crossing over the left. The right hand comes to the side of the body. As you inhale, the left arm lifts. As you exhale, twist to the right, hooking the left elbow on the outside of the right knee. This is an important one to think about that spine. So think about keeping the spine straight while also twisting it, looking to your right or maybe a little bit behind you. And we'll start to unravel that coming over to the left. So hands come to the side of you on the left, or press the right elbow into the left, the right knee. And come all the way back to center. Extend both legs long one more time. Shake them out a little. Tap the backs of the legs on the mat. Wiggle the feet from side to side. Do all that stuff. Help yourself settle in. So we're going to start to take it down. So you can adjust if you need to. Slide those feet up towards the top of your mat, or grab some water, grab whatever you need. Extend your arms long, and then one vertebrae at a time, we're going to slowly start to peel the spine back down onto the mat. Take a big deep breath in. Once you get there, another full body stretch, just like we did at the beginning. Roll out the ankles, roll out the wrists, move from side to side. And then start to bring the knees, or bring the feet towards the body, bending your knees. Your hands can come to the sides of the body. We're setting up for our back bend. So in your back bend, you're going to take a breath in, start to press those hips up towards the sky. Press your hands into the mat. If you want another option other than hands in the mat, you can start to wiggle your shoulders under the body and interlace your hands under your tailbone. So either option, whichever you prefer, pressing those hips up towards the sky, tucking the chin in towards the chest, so you're getting that nice back bend in the back of the body. And then slowly, one vertebrae at a time, you can start to peel your spine back down onto the mat. Once your tailbone touches, let your knees rock from side to side. We're going to start to come into our inversion. So always options here. If you like to do your legs up the wall, you can do that. If you don't want to use the wall, or you don't have a wall, your feet can reach right up towards the sky without the wall. Your hands can be either behind the thighs, or you can be sitting on your hands. Again, legs don't have to be straight here. You can be working them towards being straight, but they don't have to be straight. The wall does help keep them a little straighter though. So if you want to use the wall for that purpose, you can. The wall is also a little more restorative. It takes more effort to do this without the wall. One final option is a shoulder stand. I'm not sure if either of you ever try that or not. That's what's the challenge of virtual. But if you want to give the shoulder stand a try, you're basically lifting your hips up, keeping your hands on the back of the body, supporting the back. That's the important thing. If you're going to try it, make sure you keep supporting the back of the body. So we're going to take 3 or 4 more breaths here, one way or another, having those feet above the head. When you're ready to come out of it, you'll slowly start to draw those knees back in towards you, wrapping your arms around your shins, giving yourself a little hug as you rock from side to side or circle the knees, feeling the spine pressing down into the mat for a little massage of the back of the body. Your arms can start to extend wide as we find that final twist with the knees coming over to the right side. that left shoulder pressing down into the mat. You're either looking up towards the ceiling or you're looking over to the left side. Your eyes can even start to close at this point if that feels comfortable. But letting the body begin to relax here. So softening the shoulders, letting the legs land where they want to. A really gentle twist. And then beginning to bring those knees back through center as you take them over to the left side, taking as much time as you need to switch sides, adjusting how you need to, maybe turning the head. And again, bringing those knees back through center. This time the soles of the feet will come together on the mat as you let the knees release out to either side for that reclined butterfly pose. Hands can be on the inner thighs or on your stomach. Eyes can start to close if they're not already. As you just begin to settle in here, letting go. Letting those shoulders melt into the mat, letting the back of the head be fully supported. And then take a moment to check in with yourself. See if there's anything that you still need out of your practice this morning. And if there is, go ahead and do that pose or grab that water or socks or whatever it is that's going to make you feel comfortable. Go ahead and do those things now while you're starting to think about where you want to end your practice. So maybe it's here. You can stay right here if this is good. If you want to straighten your legs, you can straighten your legs. If you want to sit back up, you can sit back up. Starting to transition into that final shape now, taking as much time as you need to get there, making sure that you're comfortable so that you can relax for these last few moments of your practice here on your mat this morning. Once you find that space, the eyes will close, the body starts to relax, the breath starts to return to a normal rhythm. Whole class we're focusing on when we're inhaling, when we're exhaling, but now just let the body, the breath moves through the body however it wants to. As you just take a couple moments here in the stillness in Shavasana. Slowly starting to deepen your breath. Beginning to move your fingers and your toes, your wrists and your ankles. Just taking a stretch that feels good for you. It might depend on where you are, if you're seated, if you're lying down, if your legs are bent or straight. Kind of stretching that whole body. If you are still lying down, you can turn over onto one side, taking a moment here. And then eventually starting to make your way back up to a seated position, pressing yourself up, bringing those hands to heart center, keeping the eyes closed. And thank you all for joining me and starting your weekend with me. I hope you have the most beautiful weekend and a great week ahead. Till I see you next time. Namaste. Have a